Hi, everybody. Welcome to Well Spoken, the show that shows you how to improve your communication skills, especially your speaking skills. Today, it is more important than ever to improve your communication skills. You will have a bigger opportunity to get a better job, a more powerful job, a job you will enjoy. My name is Dave Cohen. I am a professional speaker and public speaking coach and your host. We will have a guest on every show who is either a professional speaker or someone who is well-spoken who will show you how to do it. My guest today is Jeff Kroll. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Welcome to Well
Thank you so
Spoken.
much for having me on your program.
Jeff, you grew up on the Cape, Cape Cod. Cape Cod is a peninsula surrounded by water. So it's no surprise that at that early age you develop a love, a passion for the ocean and what goes on beneath the ocean. One day you grabbed a mask, a snorkel, and dove in. And that set a standard for your entire life, didn't it?
It certainly did, Dave. Think about it. Here I was, a 6-year-old boy coming up with his family, 2 parents, 1 dog, 2 older brothers, and myself crammed into a station wagon for a 9-hour drive. 9 long hours from New Jersey all the way up to Cape Cod. There was no 495, 195, no 95 as we know today. And here we are, 9 hours. By the time we get to the Cape at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we were just bursting out of the car. Well, all of a sudden, I'd go over to my cousin's house, Steve Garners, and pretty soon we'd get on our swim trunks and talking to my cousin Andy Burling, and then we'd get over to the beach, and all of a sudden, guess what? And one day, I was walking by this cove, and it was right by Nauset Beach. And
where is Nauset Beach?
Nauset Beach, if you looked at Cape Cod, the Cape Cod is a big elbow just like this, right? Nauset Beach is right down here. Actually, I'm actually up right about here.
Which city is it near?
It's Eastham, Orleans, that area.
Okay, way out on the Cape.
That's right. And that's where we went. And I went by this cove and I said, what's beneath the surface of the waters of that cove? And then all of a sudden, I grabbed a mask, fin, and snorkel, and a whole new world came up before me. And about this time, Dave, Sea Hunt, the TV show, was popular. Aquanauts, all these knockoff TV shows were coming up. And then he had the undersea world of Jacques Cousteau during the mid-'60s. And my goodness, all of a sudden, there I was. And I couldn't get enough of it. And so every summer, this is what I came to and love and just grew within me. And then down the road, I started Deep Blue Discoveries.
I remember Jacques Cousteau and his accent, his French accent. I love the guy.
Yes.
Later, you became a certified open water diver. What is a certified open water diver?
Well, Dave, in a lot of sports, you go out and just play the game. You can go soccer, you can play baseball, but diving is a little bit different. When you go scuba diving, you have a tank, you have compressed air, and you have to take lessons on how to learn it. You have to be certified, because if not, you could really be seriously hurt, and you have to be certified by a professional and go through a training course. And so this is run by different certification agencies throughout the country and throughout the world. And then you become certified, and then a whole new world opens up to you.
You also worked for the New England Aquarium in Boston.
Yeah.
I have such fond memories of the New England Aquarium. When my son was not quite 10, we would go there, and I was fascinated. I was fascinated by the octopus, which never seemed to move. It seemed to be glued to the glass, the large eels, and of course the crowd-pleasing sharks. Tell us about what you did at the New England Aquarium. In other words, your experiences there.
Well, I really started as a neophyte. I mean, I was...
You a neophyte?
Here I was. I was 47 years old, and I'm between careers again. And, one thing after another, job after job, all of a sudden I come in, a dive trip gets canceled on the North Shore. And I said to myself, well, there's no aquarium. Walk in, all of a sudden, you have this big, giant ocean tank and all these fish and there's nurse sharks. And all of a sudden, I said, wouldn't this be great to be one of those divers? So I walk up there, and I run into a person named Holly Martell Bourbon, who was to be my supervisor. And she played a profound role and still does today. As a matter of fact, Deep Blue Discoveries wouldn't be where it is today without Holly Martell Bourbon. So Holly was my mentor. And so I worked for her. And then I said to myself, well, I'm going to do my volunteering. And in the morning, I dove on the reef. In the afternoon, I talked to the public about the reef. So it was a tremendous job, and I had so much fun there. But after a while, I said, you know, I need to move on. So a couple of years afterwards, it was March 6, 2006, 4 o'clock in the morning. And here I am sleeping and just turning around. And all of a sudden I said to myself, coral reefs, diving on coral reefs. This is what I need to do. So I said to myself, well, how do I make this go? And all of a sudden I put together a little program in the schools about the New England marine ecosystem, because I said, what do I do about coral reefs? And then all of a sudden I said, wait a minute, you know, I was in a pool a couple years ago, and I said to myself, why don't we build a replica coral reef within a swimming pool, teach children how to snorkel, play some fun educational pool games, build a coral reef, and then talk to them about ocean ecosystems, coral reef ecosystems. And this is how Deep Blue Discoveries was birthed.
I wanted to talk about Deep Blue Discoveries. You are the founder and president
Yes, I am.
of Deep Blue Discoveries. What exactly is Deep Blue Discoveries? What is its purpose, and what do you do there?
Our mission statement is, if we can inspire children to learn, then they'll be able to appreciate and explore our coral reefs and thus our oceans, and thus protect them, and to become stewards of the oceans not only now, but for many, many years to come. When you present some information to a child, if you can touch that child's heart, then you've taken them from here to here in terms of growth. It can be around their homes, it can be around their friends, it can be anywhere. But if you can take them into a pool and inspire them, because all children love water. You know, whether you like a pool, you like a river, you like an ocean. But if you can inspire them to take action, which we do at Deep Blue Discoveries, then they'll get out and we'll be able to have clean oceans and wonderful blue bodies of water to explore. Freshwater ponds too, freshwater rivers. But this is our mission statement. This is our basis, our foundation for Deep Blue Discoveries. This is what drives us, is serving the children, helping them learn, to appreciate, to explore, and from there to protect.
So the main purpose of Deep Blue Discoveries is to educate and inspire everyone, especially children,
That's right.
to maintain and preserve our oceans.
That's right. Through the coral reefs, we've really focused on coral reefs because the reefs are underwater ecosystems. They're the colonies of living animals. And if you want to learn about the health of the ocean, go study coral reefs. You know, we were talking Deep Blue Discoveries probably 3-4 years ago. We were focused on New England marine environment, oceans. But about a year or two ago, when I began the program in the pools, I said to myself, we're going in a different direction. We're now going to be focused on coral reefs and protecting these magnificent ecosystems.
This is a coral reef.
Yes, sir. This basically, Dave, this is a replica coral reef. This is what we do. This is what we actually build in a pool with the children. So
Man-made.
This is man-made. This is a replica. And what we do is, first of all, we'll get the children in the pool, and we'll teach them snorkeling skills. And of course, children like to have fun. We all like to have fun.
Well, you seem excited about what you're talking about.
I love what I do because, you know, Dave, it's like with anything, if you can talk very eloquently and very passionately if you love what you do. And I've had wonderful mentors that have inspired me and walked with me through this. You know, whether it's been Holly Martell Bourbon, my mentor John Pekarski, you've brought me on this show, my wonderful professor of education, Dr. Deborah Antosca, who's now down at St. Benedictine Academy in Savannah, Georgia, all these people. So they've held my hand, they've been there with me all the steps of the way. My martial arts instructor, Masguru Gong, Barbara Nagel, I wouldn't be here without her. And so all these people came together, and I think I've taken their energy to produce this. And what we do is we take this energy, so they're having so much fun. They're snorkeling, they're playing games, and all of a sudden, I said, let's bring this out. And I said, and here are the kids. Imagine if we're in a swimming pool right now.
That's a starfish.
It is a starfish, right? All of a sudden, actually, what they call them now is sea stars. And and what they'll do is the children will take them, they're swimming around, and what I want your viewers to go to see is to go to my website, www.deepbluediscoveries.com, and we have a video right there that will show them the whole program.
I saw your fascinating video.
Oh, absolutely. Have them go to my website, deepbluediscoveries.com, and they'll actually see the children doing this. And so, picture this. Here are the children in the pool, and all of a sudden, they start to put all these different types of animals and corals on. And notice how it's very tactile. Very, very important. When you're teaching children, you want to go to their 7 intelligences. There's 7 ways that they learn. And so some children will learn by visual. Some children will learn by tactile. Some children will learn by singing, by motion. So we try to engage the children in all their senses, in all their intelligences, so that we can make the learning as optimal for every child. When that child is in the pool with us, we're taking care of them like they're our children. You know, we take care of the children so they can take care of our coral reefs. And so far, we've been very successful with that. And we're very humbly gratified because I'm doing what I love to do, my passion. And few people could say that. And I'm lucky. And if it wasn't for the children at the resorts where I go to present my program and their families, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. So I'm very, very lucky and very, very fortunate.
Jeff, what exactly is a coral reef, and why is it important to preserve them?
Dave, that's a wonderful question. When we talk about coral reefs are actually colonies of living animals. For example, now, basically, in real life, you don't touch corals because you really want to protect them, but I'm going to lift one up. And I always emphasize to the children, we're handling the corals, but we're going to be very, very careful.
Can I hold
absolutely, please. And so, basically, and I'm going to hold a brain coral right up here, too. And basically, they are colonies of living animals. They're little animals called polyps.
It looks like a sponge.
It is. It looks like it, but they're actually very hard. And basically, animals called coral polyps colonies live on these corals.
Are these true to size, or are they magnified?
Yes, they're actually true to size. Now, some might be a little bit larger, but basically pretty much true to size. And so you have these colonies, and what happens is the importance of them is the fact that they are homes to animals. In fact, 1/4 of all marine species of fish live on coral reefs.
I'm having trouble putting this back.
Yeah, Dave, you're doing a good job there. That's it. Oh, actually, we'll put it right.
Expect the unexpected.
Wait, expect the unexpected. You know, coral reefs. Steve before in his great presentation. When we talk about coral reefs, the importance of them is, well, of course we go in coral reefs and people are scuba diving, snorkeling, and they generate billions of dollars a year in ecotourism as well as food. But they also protect islands, protect lands from tsunamis and from large waves. I mean, you can't protect everything from tsunami, but again,
I never realized that.
From these large waves coming in, they really help to protect. Also, too, do you realize that they are now discovering medicines used in the treatment of disease? And when I go on and I do my research on coral reefs, and I'm reading up on coral reefs several times a week, and when I was down in Bonaire 3 weeks ago, I was talking to experts, and
where is Bonaire?
Bonaire is right off the coast of
Venezuela.
Island. Yes, it was part of what they used to call the Dutch Netherlands Antilles. And since some of these islands have broken off, but Bonaire is known for its reef protection, and they were probably one of the first islands and groups of people that did that throughout the world. So they're worldwide. They're known for that, and so and I stayed at a place called Captain Don's Habitat. Captain Don Stewart was a forefather of this. He brought ecotourism and coral reef protection to the forefront back in the 60s and 70s. So that's where the people in Bonaire, have such passion, because they know that the reefs are so important to their livelihoods. And so I was down there for that time to study reefs and to learn how they benefit us, not just from food and ecotourism, but from medicines. It's phenomenal. It's so impressive.
Jeff, in talking about the coral reefs, you used a word I'm not quite sure what it means. Ecosystems. Did I pronounce it
Yes.
correctly?
Ecosystems, ecosystems.
What is an ecosystem?
Dave, when you look at an ecosystem, think of us as a community. All right? Think of going to a city, say Boston, and we're a community, of course, a community of people. But ecosystems are a community of living organisms. And of course, it's not only just how the community of organisms interact with each other, but it's also how they interact with the non-living parts of that environment, or the abiotic. In other words, you'll have living corals, but part of this coral reef ecosystem is the actual calcium carbonate, or the limestone, that's actually produced by the corals. And so, there's other factors too in the coral reef ecosystem, but right here, this is kind of a little mini ecosystem.
So it's nature helping nature.
Absolutely.
To make sure I understand what an ecosystem is, let me give you what I think is an example. We're in the forest. A forest has trees. The leaves fall off the trees onto the soil. These leaves add nutrients to soil. It helps the animals and insects, and the leaves give nutrients to future growth that may become trees. So it's everyone helping everyone else. Am I on the right track?
That's a perfect example, Dave. You couldn't have said it better.
I rehearsed that. I want you to know that. I rehearsed that. You talked about educating children on the importance of taking care and maintaining our coral reefs, and you gave us the reasons. What about guys like me? I'm not a child anymore. What can we as citizens do to help protect and maintain our coral reefs?
Well, Dave, in our presentation, the last part, our Build a Coral Reef Pool program through Deep Blue Discoveries.
You said a pool program?
Yes. And this is what our Deep Blue Discoveries program is. This is what we offer through Deep Blue Discoveries. Is with our program, the last part, we talk to children about action steps that they can take right now. Not just children, but families. And it's interesting because when I'm giving a presentation, I'm not only talking to the children, but I'm also talking to the parents, and they love it too. So I'll bring in one of the great things about Deep Blue Discoveries. We'll go right in the swimming pool. I'll take a container of oil. Now, again, it's tightly contained, so it's not going to leak. And I put that container of oil right in the water. So the children see the oil, and they start to say, well, this is what the oil spill looked like in the Gulf? And I said, yes. And this was also part of it was floating over some coral reefs in Florida. And then I'll bring out a piece of plastic, and this is what really hits home. Because we've heard about ocean plastic. I put the plastic into the water, the children are there, and I might bring a toy sea turtle in, or they can use their imagination, or maybe pictures to say, what do you think it's like for a turtle to see a piece of plastic? And they think it's a jellyfish. What do you think is going to happen to that turtle once it eats it? And there's a whole raft of plastic in the northern part of the Pacific Ocean. And it's about the size of the state of Texas, Subi plastic. And scientists have opened up the stomachs of dead animals, and what do they pull out? Lots and lots and lots of plastic. And that is one of my pet crusades and pet peeves, is there's so much plastic and we're not recycling it. So I talk to children about ocean, oil in the water, plastic. We also talk about sediments. Global warming and ocean acidification are two huge topics. We have to talk about them. But when you go down to, say, a reef such as Bonaire, you know that sediments that are coming in from some type of waterway, they'll go into the ocean, that can cover reefs and cause problems. Also, too, you have invasive species. The lionfish is now just inhabiting all the different parts of the Caribbean area. And guess what? You know, they are just throwing off the whole balance down there of the food chains and the food webs. And, you know, they're like vacuum cleaners. And so it's invasive species too. So coral reefs are under a group of threats, not just one threat or two threats. You know, although we really truly need to take care and take notice of ocean acidification, global warming, no question about that.
Jeff, like you, I love the ocean. I don't have the same passion that you do.
It's just within you, Dave. You know, you it's in with you. That's why I try to emphasize is that it's within everybody.
When I was this high, no one ever told me about how important it was to protect our oceans. I think it's great that you formed Deep Blue Discoveries and it helps so many people, and you're also following your passion.